Good morning, good morning, good morning. We're going to go on and come in today. We're a little early. We got an earlier edition today, basically because there's a lot on the plate on this day, and we wanted to make sure we got in here. And I kind of wanted to make sure I was in time enough to get our guest here today. So, good morning to you. I see that we have people who are coming in. Let me know you're here. Good morning, my joy. I can always depend on you. That's good. Um, and so we're here today. We're going to talk about a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and with someone who has really pushed it into the forefront of the lives of many of the people that he is connected to. And so we're going to talk about, gratefulness. That isn't just something that we do during Thanksgiving time. Amen. But gratefulness that is part of what we do every day. Love you too, Radiance. You stay right here because this is going to help in so many ways. So many of us who are struggling with how to navigate the things that happen in our lives, sometimes on a daily basis. When you talk to someone, when you know someone who's been through, and yet they can give you that sunshine, that purpose driven understanding of what they're supposed to do, it makes all the difference in the world. And so I am, in just a moment, I'm going to introduce our guest for this morning. We are, once a month, I said to you I was going to do something different. Last month, it was my aunt and my cousin who came on, and we spent some time together. It's just a little more time than we normally do, but just so that we can bring some other people in. I have a classmate I'm going to bring in for May because I want to bring her in on Mother's Day week. And so we're going to do that on next month. But right now, I want to share with you that the person that's our guest today has been in my life, all of his life for the most part. And those of you who are part of the Love and Stuff community or hear me talk about the Love and Stuff community, which you all should join tonight, 7:30 our time, 8:30 Eastern. That we have been connected since he was a child, very gifted child, and in the church. And there was, especially in that time, there was a lot going on, and I felt like I needed to be his protection, and his brother and I were his protection, and so we were able to do that and to forge a relationship that has stood the test of time. And I am very, very grateful. I'm grateful today to have him here with us as he talks to us about this gratefulness challenge. Now, there are going to be 3 words that are thrown around today, and they're all going to have different meanings. But the scripture text we're going to use today is 1 Thessalonians 5:18. It says, in everything give thanks. In everything, not for everything, not while you're going through everything, but in everything give thanks. And just kind of hang that on your hat and hang that in the universe while we talk today. And we're going to talk about the difference between what gratitude is and what gratefulness is. And I'm going to let Marcus do all of that because he has it down. Pat is, if he had a 30-second, if he had to convince you the importance of gratefulness in 30 seconds, he could do it. And so right now, I'm going to introduce to you a young man that has grown up with a very strong faith, strong family, but God has given him another journey. And that starts with this book called The Gratefulness Journey. And I'm going to introduce to you now Mr. Marcus Home, HR Passion, Human Resources professional, but he is a wizard. And so we just want to introduce him to you right now. Marcus.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And, you know, in Love
Yes.
Itself, we say Mama V, but I'm going to say Pastor V, be encouragement. I'm excited to be here. And listen, that introduction, I'm going to grab this video caption and
Oh, you do that.
I'm going to transcribe it to audio and take it everywhere I'm blessed to go. I love it.
That's great.
Uh,
That's great.
Especially in it, Valencia, you were saying that you were a protector for me. You were
Yeah.
always a protector for me. And I'm so excited. Just to be connected to you. That I'm grateful today to be connected to you. So thank you for having me.
Before we keep going, those of you who are here, share now. Share now. They don't want to miss this. You do not want to miss this challenge. You don't want to miss it. It's going to change your life. It's going to change the lives of the people that you know and that you love. Share now. Go on and go on there and share right now. I'm going to go share again, even though it's on my page. I'm still going to go share so that people will get it.
Yes.
We've got to share this because I promise you, it's not something you want to not know. You want to know this. You want to be a part of this.
Yes.
Okay?
And I am also sharing. I'm going to share on my LinkedIn page as well.
That's
so that community, you know, those that are connected there will also tune in with us.
Yes. So I'm going to share with my family. My brothers and sisters have a group, and so I just shared it on their group so that they will come on in. They're always supportive. They're okay with me just throwing it there. So hopefully we'll have more and more people who are involved on today. Wonderful. Well, Marcus, we are here today to share the Gratefulness Challenge.
Yes.
The Encouraged community, I'm Acid Thriving Tuesday group. I want you to share with us in this Gratefulness Challenge.
Yes.
God morning to you too, Reverend Fuller, and good morning, Diana. Good to see you. I know you remember Marcus as well. Remember the Young family, Diana, Yvonne, and Donna, and all of them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Diana's on there.
Hello, Diana. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Radiance. What a beautiful name.
Yeah, she's my sunshine. I call her Sunshine.
That fits. I love Radiance. That's beautiful.
Yes. And Joy. My sunshine and my joy are with me all the way. And that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway.
I love that.
Yes. So I'm going to share this so you can see I'm going to share. I didn't have to do it that way. I'm going to share that for just a moment.
Thank you so much.
You can see what the book looks like. It is available to you on Amazon.com in ebook, in Kindle, and in in paperback. I didn't know if you had a hardback or not, and in paperback. Okay. All right, and I'll show it again later. Yes. All right, Marcus. Let's swiftly talk about. Let's talk about what it means to be grateful. And a little bit about your journey. Now, let me preface this by saying I'm midway the book. I'm not finished, but I'm through the most part, the part that I really need to share today. Yeah. And that is one, that there's a difference between gratitude and gratefulness. Okay, you start there and share with us.
Absolutely. And I got, of course, the book here. And from the book, I will just read to whet your appetite, just this little part. Most people hear gratefulness and think, don't you mean gratitude? I mean, aren't they the same? They certainly are related and often utilized interchangeably. Gratefulness is the in the moment feeling of being grateful, while gratitude is the state of being grateful. Then why not shoot for gratitude? That's a great question. A constant state of anything takes time. And so what you want to do is build your brain's memory and portal and pathway to in the moment so that you have moments of gratefulness that build into days of gratefulness, that build into weeks, months, quarters, and years of gratefulness to achieve this constant state of being, right? You don't get to the state of being anything in one day. But what you in the moment get to do is to be grateful, to start to rewire your brain so that there are pathways and portals. When you start telling your brain that you enjoy gratefulness, it creates pathways and cues for shortcuts to do it over and over again. So that's the difference that I would have people understand. It's, people use gratitude far too loosely, in my opinion, because gratitude takes some time to achieve. But every moment, as you heard Mama V, Pastor Valencia say, joy and radiance are her inspiration. Gratefulness can be your joy and radiance as you give thanks in everything. And so I've learned that because of my journey and the personal loss that I've experienced, not to be thankful for the loss, right? But to be thankful in the loss and have joy and radiance through gratefulness.
I love that. I love that. Valerie McCune said, hey, y'all.
Hey, Valerie McCune. Another one of those. You all weren't teenagers, you were adults, and I wanted to be adults like y'all, right? But I was younger, and y'all said, hold on. You ain't ready for this stuff that's out here. Let me cover it. Hey, Val. Hey, Val.
Yes. And we thank God for her ministry and what she is doing. And so
powerful.
All of my my hometown folk, I'm really grateful and excited about sharing their lives and what they're doing in ministry. And so I'm trying to get around to everybody one step at a time.
Yes.
So there's a difference between gratitude and gratefulness. And so today I talked about this being the gratitude shift, because it's a process.
It is.
And I wanted to be very clear that you don't shift to gratitude overnight, but
correct.
You do it by having all of these intervals of gratefulness.
That's correct.
That gets you to that point.
Yes.
And so that was very eye-opening for me when we talked about that, and when we said that there's a difference between gratitude and gratefulness.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of people who have lost a lot right in through here, Marcus. There people have, lost family members and friends, and it seems to be in multiples. People have what clinicians call complicated grief right now, because there's so many layers of sadness, so much that has happened, so much uncertainty, all of the things that are going on in relationship to the pandemic and the politics and all of the protests and everything that's going on. And all of this, you have produced this book in a pandemic. And that's, to me, like amazing that you can produce in the middle of a pandemic a book about gratefulness. But I know it's attached to the experiences you've had. And so I would like you to talk to us for a moment as you weave in your family dynamic, at the difference between eustress and what's the other word?
Distress.
And distress. What's the difference between eustress, EUSTRES, and distress? We know what distress is. We have it all the time. Yeah. So talk to us about eustress and distress.
Yeah, and to tell you a little bit about my personal journey of loss. First, so many things, but first you were saying that I wrote this book in the middle of a pandemic.
Well, you finished this book in the middle of a pandemic.
No, this book was written in the pandemic. So since the pandemic started, I have been thinking about writing a book on the gratefulness journey. But since this pandemic started is when I actually started the writing of this book. And what a time and journey that has been, while people are experiencing some of the loss that I have experienced, right? And so I had 3 siblings. Well, there were a total of 5 of us. 3 of my siblings have passed. My very best friend in the world passed. My dad and mom passed in the span of 9 years. And many of those losses were unexpected. They were sudden. Talk about my brother, Stephen, that was comrades with. He didn't show up for Thanksgiving dinner. He was making the macaroni and cheese for Thanksgiving dinner, had a massive heart attack and died. So my sister Vanessa got up one morning, wasn't feeling well, had a massive heart attack and died. So some of these losses were sudden as many of you, COVID hit, and now people are dying from COVID. And I would share with them this message that my mother said, which I think takes us kind of to uterus and
Yeah.
distress.
Yeah.
She said, after having lost all of those people, and 2 of her sisters died during this time frame too. And I didn't include those losses as much because they were losses to me, but of course they were definitely losses for her. And she said, you have the right to grieve as deeply as you want to, and for however long you want to, but you must reserve the right to take inventory of and be grateful for everything and everybody that you have left. And that was so powerful, because when you think of distress, it's all of the negative experiences around the situation, but the utress is all of the positive that you can pull out of that experience. It's that post-traumatic stress growth. It's that you can get from that experience. When you can be in distress and move to depression, and it doesn't mean that the stress in utress is going to be alleviated. It means that you are able to take something out of what you are going through. There is a growth factor to that. Even in the midst of these bad experiences, you grow. And if you grow, there are some signs, and the book talks a little bit about it. I won't go into that because I want you to buy the book, but there are some signs that you will know that whether or not you are having post-traumatic stress growth as a result of this. So you can go from distress and be in depression, and which would you rather do? Go through what you're gonna go through, because some things are out of your control. I can't wait to get to heaven, but then again, I can. But once I get there, I want to say, now, Jesus, why did this path have to be for me? Because there are some stressors that I would have wanted to avoid. Now, if that's you, you should click like or share. But some of those very stressors are meant for you to grow. In everything, there is the opportunity for there to be a positive growth.
Absolutely.
And I would say that that would be the major thing I want to highlight in the difference between eustress and distress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say that Andrew Crawford is on here. He said to tell us
Andrew Crawford.
Yes.
And all the other folks. Hello.
And
hello,
all the
hello.
other folks, but I just wanted to bring him up because he said specifically hello to you. And I wanted
hello. Dexter.
Yes. Yes. And so we thank God for Sydney. I'm glad that you are here. And Pastor Wiley, glad that you are here with us on today. And I think that's all that has said anything, but there are others that are on. So I like that post-traumatic stress growth thing.
Yes.
Because I think that's the spiritual side of every trauma. That's how we can give thanks in it, because we know that there's something coming of it. I know you can still hear me. You're a little frozen, but I know you're coming back. So we that post-traumatic stress growth means that, yes, things are going to happen. We have things happen to us all the time. Death comes, sickness comes, struggle comes, finance trouble comes, all of that. But we have to make that decision how we're going to be grateful come what may, that we're going to be grateful in it. And so you're back, I think. Say something. Anyway, we're gonna keep talking about what it means. I'll explain how we're going to be part of the Gratefulness Journey, the Gratefulness Challenge, as the Encouraged Ministries during this time. One of the things that Marcus asked us to do is to determine something that we're grateful for every single day. And to take a 7-day, a 5-day timeline and just do that every day. If you've watched my page over the last 3 days, you've seen that I've been doing the Gratefulness Challenge each day. I'm going to do it throughout this week. If I carry it on, wonderful. If I don't, wonderful. but it's making me focus on that which I'm grateful for, even in the midst of a bunch of stress, a bunch of deadlines, a bunch of everything that's going on. But to stop and to say, these are the things, these are the people, these are the situations that I'm grateful for today, makes me pause and stop and say, as Marcus just said, that his mom said, that I can't get stuck on the things that I've lost. I have to be, I have to deal with what I have left. I love that, Melanie. And I know that that gratefulness journey for you has really shifted your life. I mean, you know, you went through some things, but look at what God is doing in your life right now. And so as we watch your journey, we are grateful that we get to cross your path, and that you have the heart that you have for everyone else. And so I'm grateful for you and for what you do and who you are. And it seems that others are grateful for it. And how wonderful is that for you? I think that he is back. Let me see if I can get him back in here. There you go.
Okay.
Amen. Okay, so we're getting some, this is good, excellent show, needed information. People who are saying, I'm going to get the book. So that's a good thing.
Yes.
Because it is a journey.
Yes.
And as I was saying while you were gone, is how the Encouraged is going to do. I've challenged them to do what you challenged us to do, whether it's a week or whether it's, you know, a long period of time. I have a friend who said that she started a gratefulness journey in 2006.
Wow.
And so that means that she is now 15 years in.
Mm-hmm.
To a grateful, but I've watched how, despite the things she's been through,
Mm-hmm.
how God has just exploded her life right now.
Yeah.
She can't find enough time in the day to do all that God has brought her way.
Wow. Wow.
And so that is the kind of testimony
Mm-hmm.
for gratefulness.
Oh, absolutely.
Because gratefulness does bring you to a gratitude shift. So at this point, Melanie's in gratitude.
Wow.
She's living out gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a shift that happens
Mm-hmm.
when you start looking at life through a different lens.
Mm-hmm.
You're not looking at life anymore through what's happening to me, but
Mm-hmm.
you're looking at life through what can I glean from this that I can say, thank you, Jesus, for.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or thank you to that person that, you know, even I've learned that even the worst breakups can be something to be grateful for, because you don't want them anyway when you look it down the road.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to somebody last night who's been in a relationship for 10 years. He will not marry her.
Yeah.
I said, the person with the problem now is not him. It's you and your worth, your understanding your worth.
Yeah.
So it's time for you to be grateful for who you are and shift.
Yeah.
Move around.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, it's been 10 years and that's a long time, a lot of investment. But anyway, so what if there's one thing about gratefulness you can tell us, because I know you have to get back to your for real, J.O.B. What is the one thing about the gratefulness journey that you can tell us has been the greatest blessing for you?
Yeah, there are 3 practices, and if I can just jump in and say this little thing into that, the gratefulness challenge, we started small because it's like that pimple that's on your face. It started growing before you saw it, right? So start the small things bring evolution. So the reason why we start only with 5 days is to give people a chance to warm up to the idea of doing the gratefulness challenge. But then after you do several weeks of the 5 days, then you stretch yourself to doing it every day. And then you're on the journey. And listen, you do want to get to a gratitude shift, but the joy is in the journey.
Yes.
You don't want to miss that. You're so focused on the destination that you miss the experience of the journey. And that's the one thing I would say. You know, I had uh, diabetes runs in my family. And when my mother died, they said, listen, you're a borderline diabetic. Here are the things that I want you to start doing. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a foodie. So I had to start making some adjustments rather. I'm still on that journey because I'm liable to eat a whole pizza as small as you think I am in one sitting. But I started to do bike riding, bicycling, as some people would say. And one of the joys of that experience is in the moment, I don't even notice that I'm riding the bike. In the moment, I am enjoying the fact that I get to see all of the scenery. I get to see the people. I get to experience peace and joy with just me and Jesus in my playlist. And so for me, the greatest thing is it awakens you to be grateful for things that you have taken for granted forever. And that I would say to anybody who is thinking, well, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God. I give thanks. I give praise. I appreciate the things I have. I challenge you to take inventory of what you really do have. And you're going to find how inexhaustive that list is of things that you can be grateful for. And I think that is the power of this journey. I'm awakened almost every day to something that I had not really given thought to, for which I'm grateful.
I love that you say this. You say, you get to choose to walk away from experiences like that with a real desire to experience those feelings more frequently, unlocking the in the moment replay from your memory so that you put it on autopilot to come forward into your consciousness. That, my friends, is the gratefulness journey, and you can begin experiencing it now. Being intentional about gratefulness affects your regimen and your perception. The intentionality, the habit, can impact the regulation of emotion and even change how you experience pain.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah.
How's that? So every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Whether you write it down or write it in your journal or write it in the recesses of your mind, find something every day.
Yes.
That you can be grateful for. And the journey.
Yes.
The journey becomes such the beauty, because then you realize that for all of the belly aching, that there's always been something to be grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I am akin to that, Pastor Valencia, is Friday, for example, was my mother's birthday.
Yeah.
She would have been 90 years old. And talk about a son in love with his mother.
Absolutely.
That was my first love. And I often say my last, but I'm gonna work on that.
That
was my first love. And it's painful for me for her not to be here. It's pain. Anybody that's lost their mother knows what I'm talking about. And especially, sons and the mother, that's a whole nother other. Yeah. But what I have done is pull those memories of her forward into my current reality and relive those moments and experiences and lessons. And it actually transforms my pain into power.
I love it.
And those are not just words, I promise you.
I love it. Transform your pain.
It literally shifts that pain into power. Okay. Now I am grieving. I still am grieving her loss. I am. But I am also transformed to take that grief to power forward. Okay, now what would she have me do with this great legacy that she's left me? Okay, I'm the son of a princess. Now, how should a duke act? And what should I do to live out that legacy? And that gives me so much power that when I go in the store and I'm talking to somebody and I'm seeing something, I said, you know what? My mom always taught me, it's just nice to be nice.
Nice.
And even if that cashier isn't nice, come on, let's work on being nice to the cashier, because we don't know what
they're going through.
That person is going through. So let's try it. I'm like that. I'm big on
and the waiter and the waitress and the bus boy and the and the custodian. Yeah.
But every time that I want to get snappy or persnickety, I can hear my mother's voice saying, "Now be nice."
Because it's just nice to be nice.
And it transformed the pain of her absence. and gives me power from her presence. Her
Yeah.
presence is still speaking to my
Yeah.
current reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's a 12-year-old listening who is like, preach. He's enjoying this because it's helping even him. Yeah.
If
For
we can
all ages, Marcus. All
if we
ages.
can get the 12-year-olds, we can change the world, because
Change
right
the world.
now, especially little Black boys are seeing people being shot and killed where people are saying, I thought it was a taser, right? That's the world that we are bequeathing to them. So we better counter that with gratefulness so that they know how to navigate in everything. We need them to be able to navigate through everything that they are seeing, that this world is showing them. We got to bequeath to them gratefulness so that they have in the moment, in everything power, going back to your text, in that watching of that young brother.
Absolutely.
You are still great. You are still worthy. You are still valuable. And we're grateful for you. And we're putting our legacy on you, that you will stand forward and say, hey, I will not be deterred because a police officer pulled the gun instead of the taser. I'm going to stand up for justice, and I'm going to do it through grateful living. And so, absolutely.
Yeah. You go to your meeting. I'm going to finish this out. Thank you. You all give some likes, some love, some claps, some hands up for Marcus Holmes. Go get the book. Go get the book, The Gratefulness Journey, every day. There it is again. Gratefulness Journey every day. Go get the book.
Thank you so much.
Love you, Marcus. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. Before we end today, let's recap. Gratefulness is a journey. Gratefulness is a journey, and we can do it in a generational way. We can tear down some of the generational curses of anger and attitude. You know, we, especially as Black women, tend to have attitude, and all of that is about some hurt. All of it's about some hurt. So let's work on the gratefulness journey so that we change our mood, we change our perception, we change our perspective, so that we meet the world with gratefulness. And that changes us to be kinder, to be nicer, to be gentler. And then we begin to do it with our young. We begin to do it with our young, and we teach them the importance of being grateful. Yes, standing up for justice, but standing up for justice is a purpose. It is a stand to take. It does not decide that we have to be nasty and mean and evil and meet ugly with ugly. That's part of that Dr. King legacy, that we have justice, but we need it with love, and we need it with love for ourselves. And that we realize that, as the Bible tells us, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like. We're wrestling against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness in high places. And so we have to get our focus back on being grateful for even in that we can find some place of gratefulness. Even if it's just to be grateful that our voices are being heard for the first time, for real, in 60, 70, 100 years, to be able to know that when we speak now, at least somebody's listening, as opposed to turning a complete deaf ear. So this is all a process, but we've got to be intentional about our gratefulness. Even in the darkest moments, we've got to find the light of gratefulness. So I want you to go forth today. Go forth, find something to be grateful for, even if it was just that you were here during this time and you were able to hear this broadcast and it changed how you looked at life today. That's right, Andrew. We cannot let the world steal our joy. We cannot be passive, but we can't let the world steal our joy. And so we've got to find that balance in that liminal space of not really knowing what's next, but knowing that I've got to stand, but I've got to do it still being grateful. I've got to stand and I've got to do it still finding love. I've got to stand and realize that everything that I do is is a model, is a paradigm for those who are coming behind me, those who are watching our every single move. They're watching. Those young people are watching. They may act like they don't care. They may act like they're not thinking about us. But when the rubber meets the road, they need to know who they can go to say, hey, this is how you need to look at this. So be grateful for that. Amen. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. I pray that this Thriving Tuesday has given you some thriving power. I love what Marcus said about those memories, that now those memories give him a part of his gratefulness journey because they have turned the pain into power. Let's turn our pain into power. Be grateful. Take on this challenge. Start with 5 days and see where it leads you. Gratefulness challenge. Be encouraged and know that if you stay grateful, intentionally grateful, the shift comes and gratitude then becomes your lifestyle. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. See you soon.